Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of High 3. Today we'll be covering pages 7 and 8. Things that don't worry happy people. May I ask you to open your books to page 7, everyone? We've got a reading activity here. Now, take a listen. Are you a happy person? The concept of happiness is more complicated than you might think. However, it is a concept that everyone can relate to and hopes to achieve in their lifetime. How do we obtain happiness? How do happy people think and process information? How do happy people view the world differently? Sometimes we unintentionally create obstacles of our own making that prevent us from attaining happiness. It is important to explore our own behavior and habits in order to discover how we are limiting ourselves so we can fully achieve happiness and maintain it. So, things that don't worry happy people, things that don't concern, that happy people don't worry about. Well, are you a happy person? Are you a happy camper, if you remember? The concept of happiness is more complicated than you might think. So the concept, the idea, the principle of happiness is more complicated, is more complex, difficult than you might think. However, it is a concept that everyone can relate to and hopes to achieve in their lifetime. It here refers to happiness. Happiness is a concept, is an idea, is a principle that everyone can relate to, that everyone can be connected to, and everyone hopes to achieve, to get, to obtain happiness in their lifetime. How do we obtain happiness? How do we achieve? How do we get happiness? How do happy people think and process information? So, the way they think and the way they process. Process means analyze, deal with information. How do happy people view the world differently? Well, everyone, view means to see, to look at, to watch. It is a verb here. So, the happy people view the world differently, but how? Sometimes we unintentionally create obstacles of our own making that prevent us from attaining happiness. So, at times, we unintentionally, we by mistake, we in error, opposite of intentionally, create, we make, we produce obstacles, barriers, problems of our own making. Of our own making means obstacles created by us. Okay, we create them, we make them, and these obstacles, these barriers, these difficulties prevent us, stop us, thwart us from attaining happiness, from achieving, from getting to, from feeling happy. It is important to explore our own behavior and habits in order to discover how we are limiting ourselves. So, it is important to explore, to search and discover our own behavior, the way we behave, and our habits in order to discover how we are limiting ourselves. Limit. So, everyone, Uh, the writer believes that we need to explore our behaviors, our habits, and in order to discover, to realize the limitations we pose on ourselves. So, therefore, as a result, we can fully achieve happiness and maintain it. As a result, we can fully attain happiness and maintain it, continue feeling happy. So, in order to achieve happiness and continue feeling happy, everyone, it is important to search and explore our habits and behavior and find out the limitations, get rid of those limitations, and feel delighted, satisfied, and happy. Next paragraph. An essential aspect in achieving happiness lies with a person's perspective. Happy and unhappy people view the world via completely different viewpoints. Here are 5 things that do not worry happy people, but may distress or concern unhappy people to no end. An essential aspect, an important, a vital part, factor, feature in achieving happiness, in feeling happy, in getting, in just obtaining happiness, lies with, exists in a person's perspective, point of view, idea. Happy and unhappy people view the world via completely different viewpoints. View, as I mentioned earlier, means to watch, to look at. Via means using, through. And viewpoint means idea. So everyone, happy and unhappy people have different perspectives, different views. They just look at the world differently. Let's say they have their special world. Why? Because of the different viewpoints they have. Here are 5 things that do not worry happy people. Well, below everyone, following, you can see 5 things that don't worry happy people. Things that happy people don't aren't concerned about. They don't just pay attention to them, but may distress or concern unhappy people to no end. Well, these 5 things, factors, they may distress, they may agitate, they may just worry or concern unhappy people to no end. They just make them unhappy very much. To no end means very much. So, below or following, you can see 5 things that happy people don't care about, while they agitate and concern unhappy people a lot. Number 1. While unhappy people may feel the need to gossip, happy people are rarely interested in such activities. That is because happy people are fulfilled and satisfied with their lives, while unhappy people need to fill voids and compensate for their shortcomings. Well, while here means although, even though unhappy people may feel the need to gossip. Remember, gossip is a verb here. So, everyone, unhappy people have a tendency to talk about others' private lives. Happy people are rarely interested in such activities. Happy people are seldom, rarely interested in such activities. So, in a nutshell, unhappy people have a tendency to gossip, while happy people hardly ever gossip. Okay, such activities means activities like gossiping. So they are rarely interested in. They don't like it at all. That is because happy people are fulfilled and satisfied with their lives. Lives is the plural form of life, everyone. So, what is the reason, guys? The reason is happy people are fulfilled. Fulfilled means just happy and satisfied. They are contented. They are pleased with their lives. They are happy. They have this feeling of satisfaction. While unhappy people, however, unhappy people need to fill voids. They need to fail to complete the emptiness, these shortages, these shortcomings, and compensate for, make up for their shortcomings. Shortcomings means their faults, their failures. So, unhappy people gossip in order to fill voids, in order to make up for their failures, for their mistakes, and for their faults. Number 2, there is such a thing as a negative Ned or Nancy. We all know people like this. They're miserable people who are always complaining about various issues and or other people. Often, it is all they talk about. It may even consume their lives. While on the other end of the spectrum, we have the super optimistic people who are constantly looking for more out of life and view the glass as half full. While it is always good to view the world positively and focus on the good, there is a middle ground between pessimism Penny and eternal sunshine Susie. It is wise to interject some realism into the equation and the good, but not exceeding your expectations, which could result in disappointment. Well, there is such a thing as a negative Ned or Nancy. Guys, Ned is a male name and Nancy is a female name. These are just examples. Think about a friend you have, for example, Ned or Nancy, that are always negative. Yeah, so negative Ned means a guy named Ned that is always negative. He is a pessimist. Or Nancy, again, she is a pessimist. We call her negative Nancy. All right, they always grumble, complain. They just talk about problems and how difficult life is. Well, we all know people like this. So, what kind of people? People who are negative, like Ned and Nancy. They are miserable people. Everyone, they are means the negative people are miserable. They are very unhappy. They are dejected. They feel down in the dumps. They're just awful. Who are always complaining, these people are always nagging, complaining about various issues, different subjects, topics, school, work, family, in-laws, I don't know, Chitsazan Language Institute, teachers, homework, yeah, various issues and or other people. So, the only thing these negative people do is just nagging and complaining. Often, it is all they talk about. So, they just talk about difficulties and problems. Okay. It may even consume their lives. So, this complaining, this nagging may affect their lives. Of Of course, it does affect their lives. They say you are what you think. If you think negatively, if you think you are miserable and unhappy, then you will be one. While on the other end of the spectrum, so while means although, however, on the other end of the spectrum remember means range, the range of people, good people, bad people, positive ones, negative ones, optimists and pessimists. So on the other end of the spectrum, we have the super optimistic people. Well, optimistic, everyone means positive. Yeah, this is an adjective. So someone who thinks positively is optimistic as an adjective. As a noun, we say he or she is an optimist. So super optimistic means over optimistic. Yeah, more than good, more than enough. So we have these super optimistic people who are constantly, who are forever, who are always looking for more out of life. They kind of expect too much. They are too positive, too optimistic, let's say, and view the glass as half full. And look at the glass, guys, when we talk about optimism and pessimism, being positive and being negative, the optimistic people look at the glass as half full, while the pessimistic people, the pessimists, look at the glass as half empty. Alright? So, half full and half empty. While it is always good to view the world positively, optimistically, to look at the world in a positive way, and focus on the good, pay attention to good things, there is a middle ground. There is a middle ground means just between them, ideas that are not extreme, ideas that are acceptable to many people, middle ground, not being too optimistic and not being too pessimistic, middle ground, being between these two extremes, yeah? So ideas that are not extreme or that are acceptable to many people. So between pessimism, Penny that is a pessimist, Penny again is a name here, and eternal sunshine Susie, or Susie that is over optimistic. Eternal, remember, means lasting forever. Sunshine here means happiness. So the writer just gives examples here. Pessimism, Penny means a person named Penny that is a real pessimist, that thinks negatively. And eternal sunshine Susie means a person named Susie that is over optimistic, that is an optimist. It is wise, it is reasonable, it is rational, it is logical to interject, to insert, to put, to add some realism into the equation and the good. So we'd better insert some realism into the equation, into the situation, yeah, and the good things. But not exceeding your expectations. But don't exceed your expectations, okay? Don't do more than enough. Yeah? Set a limit. Don't exceed your expectations. Don't ask for too much, which could result in disappointment. Everyone, if you expect too much, for example, I'm going to be a billionaire by the end of this year. You need to do this and this. You see, these are, let's say, big expectations. If they're not fulfilled, they could end in disappointment. Disappointment is this feeling of sadness, dejection, feeling down in the dumps, and having the blues. Okay? So set a limit. Be realistic. Don't, of course, try not to be either a pessimist or an optimist. Okay, just in the middle, and don't go too far. Number 3. Among the 5 things that do not worry happy people, resentment or lack of thereof is a key component to happiness. Everyone knows that resentment is inherently negative. When you hold on to resentment, it allows you to perpetuate and seize in that negativity. It just makes you moody, sad, and angry. Generally, happy people learn to let things go, especially those things that are beyond their control and rooted in the past. If you learn to let go of things and resentment, there is a burden lifted and sense of freedom associated with it. Unhappy people will wallow in the resentment, while happy people will simply move on and focus on the positive. So, among the 5 things that don't worry happy people, so there are different things that don't worry happy people. Remember, we've been discussing them. Resentment, remember on page 8 we had resentment, feeling angry, or lack of, shortage of, thereof, things like that, okay, is a key component, is a key factor, okay? So, guys, happy people don't feel resentful, okay? It doesn't exist in their dictionaries, in their lives, okay? So, resentful, feeling dejected, and lack of thereof, things like that, is a key for happy people. Okay, so a key component to happiness. So, if you'd like to feel happy, you shouldn't feel resentful. Everyone knows that resentment is inherently negative. So we all know that resentment is naturally, basically negative. When you hold on to resentment, when you just keep feeling resentful, when you feel angry and upset, when you feel agitated, it allows you, resentment allows you to perpetuate and seize in that negativity. So, we feel negative, we can't feel relaxed, we feel this is the end because of the resentment. It just makes you moody, so it gives you different moods. Sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you feel sad, you feel temperamental, moody. So you feel moody, sad, and angry. Generally, in general, as a whole, happy people learn to let things go. So happy people just forget it. They take it easy. They stop thinking or worrying about things, especially those things that are beyond their control and rooted in the past. So happy people, when they just confront with, when they experience some difficulties, especially difficulties that are beyond their control, that they can't control, or the difficulties that are rooted in the past, that are related, that just come from the past, they just forget about them. They take them easy. They don't focus on them. They don't waste their time. If you learn to let go of things, if you learn to forget about things, to take it easy, so forget about things and resentment, stop feeling resentful, there is a burden lifted. If you do that, you feel that a burden has been lifted from your shoulders. You feel a sense of freedom associated with it. Okay? So, forget about the problems, then you will have this feeling of freedom associated with it, related to that. Unhappy people will wallow in the resentment. Unhappy people keep feeling sad, keep feeling dejected. While, however, happy people will simply move on. They just keep moving, continuing, and focus on the positive. They pay attention on the positive. They look at the glass as half full. For for happy people, tomorrow is beautiful. For happy people, it is not. It is never the end of the world. They never give up. They just take it easy. They forget about the problems and they keep on. Okay. Well, turn to page 8, please. Page 8. Paragraph number 4. Your own happiness is directly related to your perspective and attitude, not the actual circumstances involved. We all encounter bumps along the road, but how you choose to view things is of great importance. It is so important to try to remain positive. You also must search within yourself for joy, satisfaction, and completion. Don't look to others for happiness and fulfillment. In truth, you can never be truly fulfilled until you achieve balance and happiness eternally. That way, no matter the twists or turns on life's road, you know you will endure and become stronger in the long run. Unhappy people tend to believe that a relationship or material wealth can bring true happiness. However, until you are happy on your own, you will never be fulfilled or satisfied. So true. Well, your own happiness is directly related to your perspective and attitude. So perspective means a way of thinking. Attitude means your opinions and ideas. So, guys, if you'd like to feel happy, change your perspective or attitude. Not the actual circumstances, not the actual conditions, situations involved. So, happiness is a matter of attitudes and perspectives. It is a matter of thinking, not a matter of circumstances and conditions. We all encounter bumps along the road. Encounter means meet with or run into, we experience, we face. Bumps, everyone, means the curved or raised area. Here, we all encounter bumps along the road means throughout our lives we face difficult situations, we face difficulties, hard, tough situations. But how you choose to view things is of great importance. So it is important to view things correctly, wisely, and reasonably. It is so important to try to remain positive. Everyone, stay positive. This is the key. So it is important to remain positive. You also must search within yourself for joy. Okay, you just search within yourself for joy, for happiness, for elation, for satisfaction, feeling satisfied, and for completion. Completion means not lacking anything. So, as I mentioned earlier, happiness is something, let's say, innate, inborn, okay? You need to feel happy inside, alright? Don't look to others for happiness and fulfillment, Okay? So, everyone, don't ask others to just make you happy or give you this feeling of happiness. You need to be happy inside. In truth, in fact, really, you can never be truly fulfilled, happy, until you achieve balance and happiness internally. Internally means existing inside you, in your mind. Okay? So, try to create this balance and happiness inside you to feel happy. Don't look to others for happiness. Okay? You need to take measures to do something to feel happy. That way, no matter the twists or turns on life's road, if you do this, it is not important the changes or the turns, the difficulties on life's road. You know you will endure, you know you will just continue to exist and become stronger in the long run. You will become stronger later in the future, in the long term, in the long run, later in the future. So, if you just achieve this balance and happiness, and despite of just facing twists and turns in your life, you will continue living and you will get stronger and you will attain happiness. Unhappy people tend to believe that a relationship or material wealth can bring true happiness. So, for unhappy people, everyone, happiness is a matter of relationships, loving someone, for example, marrying someone, or having money and possessions. So, this is the meaning of happiness for unhappy people. Okay, they just evaluate happiness. They just consider themselves happy if they have a big car, if they have a lot of money, if they have a villa, for example, or if they are married to special people. And of course, this is absolutely wrong. However, but until you are happy on your own, you will never be fulfilled and satisfied. So try to be happy on your own, then you will feel cheerful and elated. Number 5, happy people rarely have unreasonable expectations. You cannot make or force people to change. Any change that occurs must be organic and initiated as well as wanted by the individual. Once you accept that truth, the burden is removed from you. The reason many problems arise is when expectations are not met. These unreasonable expectations will result in disappointment and even anger. If you approach situations with an open mind and let things play out organically, the outcome will be much more rewarding and satisfying. While unhappy people will often become mired in a disappointment, happy people tend to go with the flow. So, happy people rarely have unreasonable expectations. They seldom have irrational, illogical expectations. They don't expect too much. They know their skills, their talents, and their limits. You cannot make or force people to change. Absolutely true. Yeah. We ourselves need to change ourselves. Any change that occurs, that happens, that takes place must be organic, must be natural, and initiated as well as initiated, everyone means started, set in motion, as well as and also wanted by the individual, by the person. So the person himself or herself must want to start and bring about changes in their lives. Once you accept the truth, as soon as you accept the truth, the burden is removed from you. You just have this feeling of freedom. This load is removed from you. Okay, you just feel as free as a bird. The reason many problems arise, occur, happen, is when expectations are not met. When we feel kind of resentful, we feel kind of angry because we expect too much. Okay, so guys, try to limit and manage your expectations because too many expectations may end in big problems. These unreasonable expectations, these irrational, illogical, not reasonable expectations will bring about disappointment, feeling disappointed, and even anger. If you approach situations, if you just get closer, okay, approach situations with an open mind, if you try to be open-minded, if you listen to what others say, if you just take others' advice, and let things play out organically, and let things occur naturally, the outcome, the result, the fruit will be much more rewarding and satisfying. The result will be just pleasing. The result will be awesome, glorious, rewarding. Okay? While unhappy people will often become mired in disappointment, although unhappy people feel and get mired in, they just get stuck in disappointment, they just feel disappointed. Happy people tend to go with the flow. Happy people go with the tide. They do what others are doing. They follow the crowd. Yeah, they live as organically or as naturally as possible. So, it all boils down to a person's perspectives and attitudes. Hopefully, people will take note of the 5 things that do not worry happy people mentioned in this article and try to focus on the positive, avoid the negative, as well as look inside. Of course, it should be looking, yeah, as well as looking inside themselves to figure out how their own happiness is defined. So, it all boils down to a person's perspectives and attitudes. So it is just a matter of someone's points of views and the way they think. Hopefully, let's hope that people will take note of, people will listen to the 5 things that do not worry happy people mentioned in the article. So the writer discussed the 5 factors that don't worry, don't concern happy people in the article, and try to focus on the positive. People try to concentrate on the positive, avoid the negative, stay away from the negative, as well as and also looking into themselves, thinking about themselves, about their limitations, their talents, their expectations, to figure out, to understand, to realize how their own happiness is defined. So Think about what makes you happy. Just again, try not to expect too much. Try to insert some realism and let it go. Try to take it easy at times, and the happiness will follow. Okay, well, that's it. Now, let's check out the exercises. 4A, match the headings with the numbered paragraphs. There is an extra heading. Remember, we had 5 numbered paragraphs, everyone. You need to match the 5 of the headings with those paragraphs. Number 1, unreasonable expectations. Irrational, unreasonable, not logical expectations, wanting too much. So it matches with paragraph 5. Paragraph 5. Holding on to resentment. Resentment is this feeling of anger. Holding on to means continue feeling something. So holding on to resentment means continue feeling resentful. So it matches with paragraph 3. Happiness and its true meaning. Guys, this heading is extra. By the way, in order to be able to match the headings with the paragraphs, you need to get the gist of each paragraph. Excuse me. Negative thinking and attitudes and opinions. It matches with paragraph 2. Search for inner and outer happiness. Inner means inside, outer, outside. So it matches with paragraph 4. And gossip, to talk about other people's private lives, matches with paragraph number 1. Part B, 4B. Are these sentences true, T, false, F, or not given, NG, according to the article? So let's see. Number 1, we cannot get happy because of the unintentional barriers we create. Unintentional, remember, was opposite of intentional, by mistake, in error. Barrier, we had obstacles, barriers, and to create means to make something. So it is true, remember, sometimes we don't feel happy because we create and we cause some unintentional obstacles. Number 2, the way you think about how to be happy has nothing to do with achieving happiness. Has nothing to do with, everyone, means it is not related, okay? It has no connection. It has no connection with achieving, with attaining happiness. Come on. It is related, so false. Number 3, contented people are keen on talking about others. Satisfied, happy people are eager, they are enthusiastic, they are interested in talking about others. So are they? No. They're not eager. They don't care. They just live their own lives. Number 4, happy people have no shortcomings in their lives. So they have no, let's say, defects, they have no problems, no shortcomings in their lives. Not given, and of course, who doesn't have shortcomings, who doesn't have problems? Everyone. So not given. Number 5, it is better to insert realism to our understanding of life to be satisfied. Everyone, to insert realism means to be realistic. to be realistic. Don't expect too much in order to be satisfied, in order to be elated and happy. True. Number 6, an essential part of happiness is to resent. An important, a vital, a crucial part of happiness is to resent, to feel angry and dejected. Come on, false. 7, to attain happiness, to achieve happiness, it is best to search within ourselves for joy. Within, yeah, inner happiness. Yeah, joy means happiness. Remember? True. And happier people have better life experiences. So, was it mentioned? I can't remember anything, so not given. They may or they may not, but nothing mentioned in the article, guys, not given. Okay, now, 4C. 4C. Answer the following questions. Why do unhappy people gossip? Remember, unhappy people do gossip. So why do they do that? Okay, the answer is simple. Well, they gossip to fill voids and compensate for their shortcomings. Okay, well, the answer, everyone, is here. So let me just a minute. Yeah, here. Okay. So unhappy people gossip to fill voids and compensate for their shortcomings. Okay. Number 2. How do optimistic people perceive life? Optimistic means positive. Remember, this is an adjective. The noun is optimism. A person is called an optimist. We have pessimistic as an opposite, a pessimist, and pessimism. So how do they perceive, how do they see or understand life? So they are constantly, forever looking for more out of life and view the glass as half full. In case you're interested where the answer is, okay, paragraph 2 here. So they are constantly looking for more out of life and view the glass as half full. Number 3, how do dejected people seize in the negativity? Okay, dejected, remember, discontented, not satisfied, unhappy, depressed. So how do they seize in the negative? They feel negative. So when you hold on resentment, it allows you to perpetuate and seize in negativity. It just makes you moody, sad, and angry. Again, in case you're interested to know where the answer is, right here, yeah, okay? So, when you hold on resentment, that is part, okay? Well, number 4, what makes you stronger in the long run, in the long term, later in the future? So what makes you stronger? So, everyone, by trying to remain positive and to achieve balance and happiness internally, you can remain positive. The answer here, okay, yes, okay, so you can never be truly fulfilled until you achieve balance and happiness internally. Number 5, how do unrealistic expectations lower our moods, the way our feel. Okay, so everyone, when the unreasonable, irrational expectations are not met, are not fulfilled, this situation results in disappointment and even anger. Okay, so the answer is here. Yeah. Okay, so the reason many problems arise is when blah blah blah. And number 6, how can we understand what is limiting happiness in our lives? Okay, so limit. Okay, everyone, we can understand it by exploring our own behaviors and habits. Okay, remember the writer talked about considering our behaviors and our habits. Well, guys, time flies when you are having fun. We're done with this great article. Everyone, hope you're just feeling satisfied and contented with whatever you have. Remember to stay positive, however hard it might be. Try to just not to go too far. Remember, tomorrow is beautiful. Try to view life through rose-colored spectacles, rose-colored glasses. Okay, and that's it. Well, this is your teacher from Chitsazan Language Institute. Everyone, until next session, take care and